presenting this. We have had Theater 2020 come to the Brooklyn Heights branch many times doing their wonderful productions. And we are in a new world now, doing things virtually through Zoom. And I'm excited that we're able to do that still as well. So I am going to introduce the co-producing artistic director of Theater 2020, David Fuller, who will tell you a bit more about the production.
Thank you, Rachel. Hello, everybody. Welcome. On behalf of my partner, let's see if I can get Don to turn off his video before we start. There we go. Thank you, Don. On behalf of my partner, Judith DeRose, we are, as she said, co-producing artistic directors of Theater 2020. I want to welcome you to our Zoom virtual radio play adaptation of A Christmas Carol. I want to thank Rachel Tiemann and the Brooklyn Public Library. This is of course free. If you like what you see, or you care to donate, give us a little holiday cheer, you go to our website at www.theater2020.com and make sure you spell that THEATER 2020, and you'll see a button for you to support us. So we'd appreciate that if you like. I want to say that this is a radio play, which is meant to mean that it's just like you were listening to it on the radio. So you'll see that we are playing many different characters. We have Judith DeRose is going to be doing Foley artist sound effects as well. But this is a radio play, and we are doing it for the first time on Zoom. And we love Zoom, but Zoom does have some issues. We have tried to figure out a way to make it so we can have simultaneous sound and speaking. So we hope that that'll work. There may be some times when it doesn't work quite as well as we like, but that's the world that we live in for now. This Zoom will be coming to you from where we are in Brooklyn Heights, but also in Upper Manhattan in New York City, also in New Jersey, and also from Albuquerque, New Mexico. So we're delighted that at least through Zoom, we are able to bring a bunch of artists together from different places, all in one place from the comfort of our homes. So I think that's a great thing that we do like about Zoom. This is live, so there may be things that happen. And if things happen, we will deal with them. So just be patient and don't worry, we will have it under control. There will be a short Q&A afterwards, so we'll be able to look at the chat, and we'll take up your questions amongst the cast at that point. Right now, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask all of our actors to turn on their video, and we are going to introduce you to who in the heck we are all doing. Here we are. So I am David Fuller, as I said, and I am the announcer. I'm also the narrator. I am playing Bob Cratchit and Scrooge's nephew, and you will see that at one point I have a scene between myself, so that should be interesting to see. I'm playing Marley's ghost as well, Boy Scrooge, Bob Cratchit and Bob Cratchit's son Peter, and Old Joe, and I think that's enough. And Lynn Marie, do you want to tell us who you're playing?
Yes, I'm playing the ghost of Christmas past, man number 1, Tiny Tim, third businessman, first woman, and woman.
Thanks. And Todd?
I'll be playing guitar, but I'll also be playing the ghost of Christmas present, Fezziwig, the schoolmaster, a number of men, including the first businessman, the first man, the portly man, the man simply known as Man, and the little girl named Belinda.
And Eileen, who are you playing for us?
Hi, I am playing the thin man, Fan, Dick, woman who happens to be the fiancé, man number 2, Mrs. Cratchit and her lovely daughter, Martha, wife, second businessman, Mrs. Dilber, Adam.
And that's
and
it.
Niece.
That's enough.
That's it. Niece and wife are the same person.
Right. And Hal, who are you doing?
I think I'll just be Scrooge.
Terrific. And we have one more who you won't see, but you'll hear, Judith. That's Judith, and she's doing our sound effects. Can you say hello, Judith, just so I can hear you? I am not hearing her. Is that everybody else here, Judith?
She's muted.
Can we unmute Judith? before we start, like I said, this is Zoom, so go ahead, Judith. Talk again, Judith. Let me hear you. Wait. It's not happening. She's on mute. Well, I'm glad we found this out right now. I am going to actually have to go and take care of this, but I'll be right there.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, she's there now. Oh, good.
Okay.
No, so that worked. I'm glad we tested so we can hear everybody. That's perfect.
Okie doke.
So we will now start. I'm going to now ask you all to turn off your videos. We'll see you all when we see you, and we'll be ready to start.
Upbeat and perky.
Radio 2020 is on the air. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Today we are pleased to bring you Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, featuring the voices of Eileen Glenn, Lynn Marie Macy, Hal Simons, Todd Schwartz, also on guitar, and yours truly, David Fuller, with Judith Drost providing the Foley artist sound effects. A Christmas Carol is being brought to you by Theatre 2020.
Theatre 2020.
Theatre 2020, Visions for a New Millennium, bringing innovative productions of classic and contemporary plays and musicals to our friends and neighbors in Brooklyn Heights and beyond. When the pandemic subsides, we will be there better than ever. Meantime, check out our virtual productions we'll announce periodically on our website, www.theatre2020.com. Now, sit back, relax, and let your imaginations take hold as we take you back to the London and the Christmas of Charles Dickens.
It came upon a midnight clear.
Marley was dead to begin with. There is no doubt whatever about that. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. Scrooge was his sole executor, his sole friend, and sole mourner. And even Scrooge was not so dreadfully cut up by the sad event that he was an excellent man of business on the very day of the funeral and solemnized it with an undoubted bargain. Scrooge never painted out old Marley's name. There it stood, years afterward, above the warehouse door, Scrooge and Marley. The firm was known as Scrooge and Marley. Some people new to the business called Scrooge Scrooge, sometimes Marley, but he answered to both names. It was all the same to him.
Oh, come, let us adore him.
Oh, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, Scrooge, a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner, secret and self-contained, and solitary as an oyster. The cold within him froze his old features. A frosty rime was on his head. He carried his own low temperature about him and didn't thaw it 1 degree at Christmas. Once upon a time, of all the good days in the year, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat, busy in his counting house. It was cold, bleak, biting weather, foggy withal, and he could hear the people in the court outside go wheezing up and down, beating their hands upon their breasts and stamping their feet upon the pavement stones to warm them. The city clocks had only gone just 3, but it was quite dark already, and candles were flaring in the windows of the neighboring offices, like ruddy smears upon the palpable brown air.
Catch it? Acting coal. Are you? Ask to replenish your coal from my coal box, won't you? Well, save your breath, Cratchit, unless you're prepared to find employ elsewhere.
Merry Christmas to you, Uncle. God save you.
Humbug!
Christmas a humbug? Uncle, I'm sure you don't mean that.
I do. Merry Christmas. What right do you have to be merry? What reason have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
Come then, what right have you to be dismal? What reason have you to be morose? You're rich enough.
Ah, humbug.
Oh, don't be cross, Uncle.
What else can I be, eh? When I live in a world of fools such as this, Merry Christmas. What's Christmas time to you but a time for paying bills without any money? a time for finding yourself a year older, but not an hour wiser. If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. He should.
Uncle!
Nephew, you keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine.
Keep it? But you don't keep it, Uncle.
Leave it alone. Much good has it ever done you.
There are many things from which I have derived good, by which I have not profited. I dare say Christmas among the rest. But I am sure that I always thought of Christmas time when it has come round as a good time, the only time I know of when men and women seem to open their shut-up hearts freely. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good, and that it will do me good, and I say, God bless it.
Oh, another sound from you, Cratchit, and you'll keep Christmas by losing your situation.
Don't be angry, Uncle. Come, dine with us tomorrow.
Oh, rather see myself dead.
But why?
Because.
Why?
Why did you get married?
Because I fell in love.
That, sir, is even more ridiculous than Merry Christmas. Good afternoon.
Why cannot we be friends?
Afternoon.
I'm sorry with all my heart, but I'll keep my Christmas humor to the last. So, Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Afternoon.
And a Happy New Year.
Noon.
Uncle, you are the most... No, I shan't. My Christmas humor is intact. God bless you, Uncle. Merry Christmas, Bob Cratchit. Merry Christmas to you, sir, and a very Happy New Year.
To see the pair of you, idiots with wives and children to support. My clerk there earns 15 shillings a week, and the perfect pair of you rallying about Merry Christmas. I'll retire to Bedlam.
He's impossible. Oh, mind him not, sir. He's getting on in years and he's alone. He's noticed your visit. I'll wager your visit has warmed him. Him? Uncle Ebenezer Scrooge warmed? You are a better Christian than I am, sir. Good day to you, sir, and God bless. God bless. Can I help you, gentlemen?
And Marley's, I believe. Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Mr. Marley died 7 years ago this very night.
We have no doubt his liberality is well represented by his surviving partner.
Noon.
This will take but a moment, sir.
At this festive season of the year, Mr. Scrooge, it is more than usually desirable that we should make some slight provision for the poor and destitute, and who suffer greatly at the present time. Many thousands are in want of common necessities. Hundreds of thousands are in want of common comforts, sir.
Are there no prisons?
Plenty of prisons.
And aren't the workhouses still in operation?
They are. Still, I wish that I could say they are not.
Oh, I see. I was afraid that something had occurred to stop their very useful course.
A few of us are endeavoring to raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth. We choose this time because it is a time of all others, when want is keenly felt and abundance rejoices. What shall I put you down for, sir?
Nothing.
You wish to be left anonymous?
Wish to be left alone. Since you ask, I help to support the establishments that I have mentioned with my taxes. They cost enough, and those that are badly off must go there.
Many can't go there, and many would rather die.
If they would rather die, they'd better do it and decrease the surplus population.
But, sir, Mr. Scrooge, think of the poor.
Officers, sir, while I am still smiling.
Well, good day, sir.
Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Yes, Merry Christmas, young man.
Yes, a Merry Christmas to you both. And
What's this?
Cratchit gives him some coins.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
I must be going home.
You'll be wanting the whole day tomorrow, I suppose.
If quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient, and it's not fair. If I was to stop £0.50 from your wages for it, you'd think yourself ill-used, I'll be bound, and yet you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
It's only but once a year, sir.
Poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. I suppose you must have the whole day. Be here all the earlier the next morning.
Oh, I will, sir. I will. I promise you. And, sir, but let me wish you,
Should I warn you?
well, sir.
Cratchit!
Oh, all right then, sir. Well, Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Doug!
Away in a manger, no crib for a bed, the little Lord Jesus laid down his sweet head. The stars in the sky looked down where he lay, the little Lord Jesus asleep on the hay.
Scrooge took his melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern, and having read all the newspapers and beguiled the rest of the evening with his banker's book, went home to bed. He lived in chambers which had once belonged to his deceased partner. They were a gloomy suite of rooms in a lowering pile of building up a yard. Nobody lived in it but Scrooge, the other rooms being all let out as offices. The yard was so dark that even Scrooge, who knew its every stone, was fain to grope with his hands. Now, it is a fact that there was nothing at all particular about the knocker on the door, except that it was very large. It is also a fact that Scrooge had seen it night and morning during his whole residence in that place. Let it be also known and borne in mind that Scrooge had not bestowed one thought on Marley, save his last mention of his 7 years dead partner that afternoon. And then let any man explain how it happened that Scrooge, having his key in the lock of the door, saw in the knocker, without its undergoing any intermediate process of change, not a knocker, but Marley's face. Marley's face. It was not in impenetrable shadow, as the other objects in the yard were, but it had a dismal light about it, like a bad lobster in a dark cellar. As Scrooge looked fixedly at this phenomenon, it was a knocker again. He walked in and lighted his candle. Before he shut the door, he looked cautiously behind it, as if he half expected to be terrified with the sight of Marley's pigtail sticking out into the hall. But there was nothing, except the screws and nuts that held the knocker on. He fastened the door and walked across the hall and up the stairs, slowly trimming his candle as he went. Up Scrooge went, not caring a button for the dark. Darkness is cheap, and Scrooge liked it. But before he shut his heavy door, he walked through his rooms to see that all was right. Sitting room, nobody under the table, nobody under the sofa, a small fire in the grate, spoon and basin ready, and the little saucepan of gruel, Scrooge had a cold in his head, upon the hob. Bedroom, nobody under the bed, nobody in the closet, nobody in his dressing gown hanging against the wall. Lumber room, old fire guard, old shoes, 2 fish baskets, washing stand on 3 legs, and a poker, all as they should be. Quite satisfied, he closed his door and locked himself in. Double locked himself in, which was not his custom. Thus secured against surprise, he took off his cravat, put on his dressing gown and slippers and his nightcap, and sat down before the fire to take his gruel. The fireplace was an old one and paved all round with quaint Dutch tiles designed to illustrate the scriptures. And yet that face of Marley, 7 years dead, came and swallowed up the whole. There was a copy of old Marley's head on every one.
Humbug! Still, not.
Scrooge. The same face, the very same. Marley in his pigtail, usual waistcoat, tights, and boots. The chain he drew was clasped about his middle. It was long and wound about him like a tail, and it was made, for Scrooge observed it closely, of cash boxes, keys, padlocks, ledgers, deeds, and heavy purses wrought in steel. His body was transparent, so that Scrooge, observing him, could look through his waistcoat and could see the 2 buttons on his coat behind.
Now, what do you want of me?
Much. Ask me who I was.
Since you're so particular, who are you then?
In life, I was your business partner, Jacob Marley.
I see. Can you sit down?
I can.
Do it then.
I shall. You don't believe in me.
Don't.
Why do you doubt your senses?
Because a little thing affects them. A slight disorder of the stomach makes them. You might be an undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an underdone potato. There's more of gravy than of grave than you, whatever you are. Humbug, I tell you, humbug.
Man of the worldly mind, do you believe in me or no?
I must. But why do spirits such as you walk this earth? And why do you come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men. And if that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death. Oh!
Fettered with chains, why is that?
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard. Is its pattern strange to you? Or would you know the weight and length of the strong coil you bear yourself? It was full as heavy and long as this 7 Christmas Eves ago. You have labored on it since. It is a ponderous chain.
Oh, Jacob Marley, speak comfort to me, Jacob.
I have none to give. Comfort comes from other regions, Ebenezer Scrooge. It is conveyed by other ministers to other kinds of men. A very little more is all that it is permitted me. I cannot rest, I cannot stay, I cannot linger anywhere. Oh! My spirit never walked beyond our counting house. Mark me. In life, my spirit never roved beyond the narrow limits of our money-changing hole, and weary journeys lie before me.
You were always a good man of business, Jacob.
Business. Business! Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, benevolence were all my business. Hear me, Ebenezer Scrooge. My time is nearly gone.
Don't be flowery, Jacob.
How it is that I appear before you in a shape that you can see, I may not tell. I have sat invisible beside you many and many a day. That is no light part of my penance. I'm here tonight to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate. A chance and hope of my procuring Ebenezer.
You were always a good friend to me, Jacob, I thank you.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is this the chance and hope you mentioned, Jacob?
It is.
Then I think I'd rather not.
Without their visit, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow when the bell tolls 1.
Couldn't I have them all at once and have it over?
Expect the second on the next night at the same hour. The third upon the next night when the last stroke of 12 has ceased to vibrate. Look to see me no more. And look that for your own sake you remember what has passed between us.
No one here at all. Humbug. An undigested bit of...
God rest you merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Saviour was born on Christmas Day.
Scrooge was in his bed, dead to the world in his darkened room, but the chimes of his clock stirred him. The curtains of his bed were drawn aside.
A hand. Who owns it?
It was a strange figure, like a child, yet not so like a child as like an old man viewed through some supernatural medium, diminished to a child's proportions. Its hair was white, as if with age, and yet the tenderest bloom was on the skin. The arms were very long and muscular, the hands the same, as if its hold were of uncommon strength. It wore a tunic of the purest white, and round its waist was bound a lustrous belt. It held a branch of fresh green holly in its hand, and had its dress trimmed with summer flowers. But the strangest thing about it was that from the crown of its head there sprung a bright, clear jet of light, by which all this was visible, and which was doubtless the occasion of its using, in its duller moments, a great extinguisher for a cap, which it now held under its arm.
The spirit, sir, whose coming was foretold to me.
I am.
Who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
Your past.
May I ask, please, sir, what business have you with me?
Your welfare.
I am much obliged, but I cannot help thinking that a night of undisturbed rest would be more conducive to that end.
Your reclamation, then. Take heed.
By what?
Rise. Fly with me.
I cannot fly. I am a mortal.
But bear a touch of my hand, and you shall be upheld in more than this.
As the words were spoken, they passed through the wall and stood upon an open country road with fields on either hand. It was a clear, cold winter day with snow upon the ground.
Good heaven! I was a boy here.
Mr. Scrooge, your lip is trembling, and what is that upon your cheek?
Nothing.
You remember the way?
Remember it. I could walk it blindfolded.
They walked along the road, Scrooge recognizing every gate and post and tree, until a little market town appeared in the distance, with its bridge, its church, and winding river.
These are but shadows of things that have been. They have no consciousness of us. It is Merry Christmas that they sing to one another. What is Merry Christmas to you, Mr. Scrooge? Out upon Merry Christmas. What good has Merry Christmas ever done you, Mr. Scrooge?
None.
Look you, sir. A school ahead. The schoolroom is not quite deserted. A solitary child, neglected by his friends, is left there still.
Cannot.
You must know who it is.
It is I. Alone. Poor boy. I wish... no, it's too late.
What is the matter?
Nothing. There was a boy singing a Christmas carol outside my window last night, and I should have liked to have given him something, that's all.
Come, let us see another Christmas.
Scrooge's former self grew larger at the words, and the room became a little darker and more dirty. The windows cracked, and fragments of plaster fell out of the ceiling.
Look, me again, older now. Still alone.
Dear brother, I have come to bring you home.
Home, little Fan?
Yes, home for good and all. Father is so much kinder than he ever used to be, and home's like heaven. He spoke so gently to me one dear night when I was going to bed that I was not afraid to ask him once more if you might come home. And he said, yes, you should, and sent me in a coach to bring you. And you're to be a man, and you're never to come back here, but first, we are to be together all the Christmas long and have the merriest time in the world.
You are quite a woman, little Fan.
Bring down Master Scrooge's travel box at once. He's to travel.
Who is that, Ebenezer?
Oh, quiet, Fan. It is the schoolmaster himself.
Master Scrooge.
Oh, schoolmaster, I'd like you to meet my little sister, Fan, sir.
Pleased, sir.
But to travel, Master Scrooge.
Yes, sir. I know, sir.
Pardon, sir, but I believe that you've forgotten to say your goodbye to my brother Ebenezer, who stands still now awaiting it. Pardon, sir.
Well, then, goodbye, Scrooge.
Oh, well, goodbye, schoolmaster.
My precious Fan.
Always a delicate creature, whom a breath might have withered, but she had a large heart.
So she had spirit.
She died a woman and had, as I think, children.
One child.
True. Your nephew.
Yes.
We move on, Mr.
They were now in the busy thoroughfares of a city, where shadowy passengers passed and repassed, where shadowy carts and coaches battled for the way, and all the strife and tumult of a real city were. It was Christmas time again, but it was evening, and the streets were lighted up.
That warehouse there, do you know it?
Know it? Was I not apprentice there?
We'll have a look.
Why, it's Fezziwig! Bless his heart! It's Fezziwig alive again! Quitting time!
Quitting time? Yo, Ebenezer! Dick!
Dick Wilkins, to be sure! My fellow apprentice, bless my soul! Yes, there he is!
Yo, my boys! No more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Dick! Christmas, Ebenezer. Idio, clear away. Let's have lots of room here. Idio, Dick, cheer up, Ebenezer.
Away. It was done in a minute. Every movable was packed off. The floor was swept and watered. The lamps were trimmed. Fuel was heaped upon the fire, and the warehouse was as snug and warm and dry and bright a ballroom as you would desire to see upon a winter's night.
Hi ho, Matthew. Fiddle away. Where are my daughters?
In came a fiddler with a music book and went up to the lofty desk and made an orchestra of it and tuned like 50 stomach aches. In came Mrs. Fezziwig, one vast substantial smile. In came the 3 Miss Fezziwigs, beaming and lovable. In came the 6 young followers whose hearts they broke. In came all the young men and women in the business. In came the housemaid with her cousin, the baker. In came the cook with her brother's particular friend, the milkman. In they all came, one after another, some shyly, some boldly, some gracefully, some awkwardly, some pushing, some pulling. In they all came, anyhow and everyhow. Away they all went, 20 couple at once, hands half round and back again, the other way, down the middle and up, round and round and round. There were dances and more dances, and there was cake, and there was a great piece of cold roast, and there was a great piece of cold boiled. There was mince pies and plenty of beer.
It was a small matter that Fezziwig made those silly folks so full of gratitude.
Small?
We are blessed, Ebenezer, truly, to have such a master as Mr. Fezziwig.
He is the best, the very and absolute best. If ever I own a firm of my own, I shall treat my apprentices with the same dignity and the same grace. We have learned a wonderful lesson from our master, Dick.
Ah, that's a fact, Ebenezer. That's a fact.
Was it not a small matter, really? He spent but a few pounds of his mortal money on your small party. 3 or 4 pounds, perhaps. Is that so much that he deserves such praise as you and Dick so lavish now?
It isn't the money, Spirit. Fezziwig had the power to make us happy or unhappy, to make our services light or burdensome, a pleasure or a toil. The happiness he gave is quite as great as if it cost him...
What is the matter?
Nothing.
Something, I think.
No, I should like to have been able to say a word to my clock just now, that's all.
My time grows short. Quick!
Young Scrooge is older now, busily working at his desk. He's so engrossed, he hardly hears his fiancée talking.
It matters little. To you, very little. Another idol has replaced me.
What idol has displaced you?
A golden one.
This is an even-handed dealing of the world. There is nothing on which it is so hard as poverty, and there is nothing it professes to condemn with such severity as the pursuit of wealth.
You fear the world too much. Have I not seen your nobler aspirations fall off one by one?
No.
What then? Even if I have grown so much wiser, what then? Have I changed towards you?
In words, no, never.
In what then?
In a changed nature, in an altered spirit, in everything that made my love of any worth or value in your sight. If this had never been between us, tell me, would you seek me out and try to win me now? Ah, no.
Yes!
You think not?
If I could, heaven knows. But if you were free today, tomorrow, yesterday, can even I believe that you would choose a dowerless girl, you who in your very confidence with her weigh everything by gain, or choosing her, do I not know that your repentance and regret would surely follow? I do, and I release you with a full heart for the love of him you once were.
Please.
Please, I...
Please, you may. The memory of what is past helps me hope you will have pain in this. A very, very brief time, and you will dismiss the memory of it as a profitable dream, or an unprofitable dream from which it happened well that you awoke. May you be happy in the life that you have chosen for yourself.
Goodbye.
Oh, you fool! Mindless loon!
Fool. Mindless loon. Fool.
Spirit, remove me from this place.
I have told you these were shadows of things that have been. They are what they are.
Leave me. Take me back. Haunt me no longer.
Scrooge found himself alone, back in his bed.
What? Oh, a bad dream. Humbug! Humbug, I say.
Scrooge slept fitfully. No visions of sugar plums danced in his head.
Wait! Oh. What? The spirit said, humbug! It was a dream.
5 minutes, 10 minutes, a quarter of an hour went by, yet nothing came. All this time he lay upon his bed. A blaze of ruddy light streamed upon it, which was more alarming than a dozen ghosts. He was powerless to make out what it meant. At last, he began to think that the source of this ghostly light might be in the adjoining room, from whence it seemed to shine. This idea taking full possession of his mind, he got up softly and shuffled in his slippers to the door.
Ebenezer Scrooge, come in, come in, come in and know me better.
He obeyed. It was one of his own rooms. There was no doubt about that. But it had undergone a surprising transformation. The walls and ceiling were hung with living green from which bright gleaming berries glistened. Holly, mistletoe, and ivy reflected back the light as if so many little mirrors had been scattered there. And such a mighty blaze went roaring up the chimney as that dull hearth had never known in Scrooge's time, or Marley's. Heaped up on the floor to form a kind of throne were poultry, great joints of meat, long wreaths of sausages, mince pies, plum puddings, barrels of oysters, cherry-cheeked apples, juicy oranges, luscious pears, and immense 12th cakes. In easy state upon this couch there sat a jolly giant, glorious to see, who bore a glowing torch in shape not unlike Plenty's horn, and held it up, high up, to shed its light on Scrooge as he came peeping round the door.
How should I call you?
I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me.
Scrooge reverently did so. It was clothed in one simple deep green robe, bordered with white fur. On its head it wore no other covering than a holly wreath, set here and there with shining icicles. Its dark brown curls were long and free, free as its genial face.
You have never seen the like of me before.
Ever?
You've never walked forth with younger members of my family, my elder brothers born on Christmases past.
I don't think I have. I'm afraid I've not. Have you many brothers, Spirit?
More than 1,800.
A tremendous family to provide for. Where you will tonight. If you have aught to teach me, let me profit by it.
Touch my robe.
Scrooge did as he was told and held it fast. Holly, mistletoe, red berries all vanished instantly. So did the room, the fire, the ready glow, the hour of the night, and they stood in the city streets on Christmas morning, where the people made a rough but brisk and not unpleasant kind of music. In scraping the snow from the pavement in front of their dwellings and from the tops of their houses, the people shoveling away were jovial and full of glee, calling out to one another, and now and then exchanging a facetious snowball, better natured missile far than many a wordy jest, laughing heartily if it went right, and not less heartily if it went wrong. And at the same time, there emerged from scores of by-streets innumerable people carrying their dinners from the bakers' shops.
You watch where you're going.
Watch it yourself, mate.
The jolly spirit sprinkled incense on them from his torch.
Oh, I pray you. Go in ahead of me. It's Christmas, you be first.
No, I must insist that you be first.
Oh, right, all right. Yes, I shall be, and gratefully so.
The pleasure is equally mine for being able to watch you pass by smiling.
I would find it a shame to quarrel on Christmas Day.
Would I?
Merry Christmas to you, friend.
And a Merry Christmas straight back at you.
Is there a peculiar flavor in what you sprinkle from your torch?
There is my own.
Would it apply to any kind of dinner on this day?
To any kindly given, to a poor one most.
Why to a poor one most?
Because he needs it most.
They went on into the suburbs of the town.
What is this place, Spirit?
This is the home of your employee, Mr. Scrooge. Don't you know it?
Cratchit? Spirit? You mean this is Cratchit's home?
None other.
These children are his.
There are more to come presently.
On his wages. What foolishness.
Foolishness, is it?
Wouldn't you say so? 15 shillings a week's what he gets.
I would say that he gets the pleasure of his family 15 times a week times the number of hours in a day. Wait, Mr. Scrooge. Wait. Listen and watch.
Set the forks on the left, Peter. What has ever got your precious father then? Thank you, Belinda. And your brother, Tiny Tim. And Martha weren't half this late last Christmas by half an hour. Oh, here's Martha now, Mother.
It's Martha, Mother.
Martha, hello.
Hurrah, Martha. There's such an enormous goose for us, Martha.
Why, bless your heart alive, my dear, how late you are. We'd a great deal of work to finish up last night, and I had to clear away this morning, Mother. Well, never mind, so long as you are come. Sit you down before the fire, my dear, and have a warm, Lord bless you.
No, there's Father coming. Hide, Martha, hide.
Where?
Hide.
Up there.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, my love. Merry Christmas, Peter. Merry Christmas, Belinda. Why, where's Martha?
Not coming.
Not coming? Not coming upon Christmas Day?
No, poor Father, don't be disappointed.
What's this?
It's I.
Martha.
Martha.
Oh, Tiny Tim.
Come, brother. You must come hear the pudding singing in the copper.
The pudding. What flavour have we?
Plum.
Oh, Mother, I love plum.
Children, take your places. Come, Bob, help me in the kitchen. And how did little Tim behave?
As good as gold, and even better. Somehow he gets thoughtful sitting by himself so much, and thinks the strangest things you ever heard. He told me coming home, that he hoped people saw him in the church because he was a cripple, and it might be pleasant to them to remember upon Christmas Day who made lame beggars walk and blind men see. He has the oddest ideas sometimes, but he seems all the while to be growing stronger and more hearty. One would never know. The goose has arrived to be eaten.
Oh, Mama, it's beautiful.
It's a perfect goose, Mother.
To this Christmas goose, Mother and Father, I say, hurrah, hurrah.
Hurrah, hurrah.
Hurrah, hurrah! Thank you, dear Lord, for your many gifts, our dear children, our wonderful meal, our love for one another, and the warmth of our small fire. A Merry Christmas to us, my dear. God bless us.
Merry
Christmas. God bless us.
Bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved.
No.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
Oh, say he will be spared.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, none other of my race will find him here. What then? If he be like to die, he had better do it and decrease the surplus population.
Mr. Scrooge.
Huh? What?
I'll give you Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
Me? Bob, you toast me?
Save your breath, Mr. Scrooge. You can't be seen or heard.
The founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here, that miser Scrooge. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast upon, and I hope he'd have a good appetite for it.
My dear, Christmas Day.
It should be Christmas Day, I am sure, on which one drinks the health of such an odious, stingy, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge.
But
You know he is, Robert. Nobody knows it better than you, poor fellow.
this is Christmas Day, and I should like to drink to the health of the man who employs me and allows me to earn my living and our support, and that man is Ebenezer Scrooge.
Well, I'll drink to his health for your sake and the day's, but not for his sake. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you, Mr. Scrooge, wherever you may be this day.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And Mrs. Cratchit. No one else is toasting me. Of that I am sure.
Children,
Merry
Christmas, Mr.
Mr.
Scrooge.
Touch my robe again. You do not recognize them.
This is my nephew, and the one he married.
Strikes me as so funny to think of what he said, that Christmas was a humbug. As I live, he believed it.
More shame for him, Fred.
Well, he's a comical old fellow, that's the truth.
Well, I have no patience with him.
Oh, I have. I'm sorry for him. I couldn't be angry with him if I tried. Who suffers by all his ill whims? Himself, always. I mean to give him the same chance every year, whether he likes it or not, for I pity him. Nay, he is my only uncle, and I feel for the old miser.
I understand, and I am with you, but he will never accept you. No, he never will.
Well, true, wife, uncle may rail at Christmas till he dies. I think I shook him some with my visit yesterday. I refused to grow angry, no matter how nasty he became. It was he who grew angry, wife. Humbug! Ah, there is much laughter in our marriage, wife. It pleases me. You please me.
And you please me, Fred. You are a good man. Come now. We must have a look at the meal. Our guests will soon arrive. My sisters, Topper.
A toast first. A toast to Uncle Scrooge.
A toast to him.
Uncle Scrooge has given us plenty of merriment, I am sure, and it would be ungrateful not to drink to his health. And I say, Uncle Scrooge.
You are a proper loon, Fred, and I am a proper wife to you, Uncle Scrooge.
Let me begin. I wish to speak with my nephew and my niece.
You may return to them later tonight in your dreams. My time grows short, Ebenezer. Look you on me.
Your skin wrinkled, our spirits' lives so short.
My stay upon this globe is very brief. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
At midnight. My time is drawing near. In a quarter of an hour, my life will have been spent. Look, man, look you here.
They were a boy and girl, meager, ragged, scowling, where graceful youth should have filled their features out. A stale and shriveled hand had pinched and twisted them and pulled them into shreds. Where angels might have sat enthroned, devils lurked. No degradation, no perversion of humanity through all the mysteries of wonderful creation has monsters half so horrible and dread.
They're man's children, and they cling to me, appealing from their fathers. The boy is ignorance, the girl is want. Beware them both in all of their degree, but most of all beware this boy. For I see, written on his brow, that which is doom, unless the writing be erased.
Have they no refuge or recourse?
Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses? Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses? Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses? Prisons, workhouses, prisons, workhouses.
Scrooge looked about him for the ghost and saw it not. As the last stroke ceased to vibrate, he remembered the prediction of old Jacob Marley, and, lifting up his eyes, beheld a solemn phantom, draped and hooded, coming like a mist along the ground toward him. It was shrouded in a deep black garment, which concealed its head, its face, its form, and left nothing of it visible save one outstretched hand.
Are you not the spirit of Christmas yet to come? You or to show me the shadows of things that have not yet happened, but will happen in time before us. Is that not so, Spirit? Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any spirit I have seen. But as I know your purpose is to do me good, I'm prepared to bear you company. The night is fading fast, and it is gruesome time for me. I know. Lead on, Spirit.
Oh, no, I don't know much about it either way. I only know he's dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
Why, what was the matter with him? I thought he'd never die, really.
God knows, God knows.
What's he done with his money?
Well, I haven't heard, have you?
Left it to his company, perhaps? Money to money, you know the old expression.
He hasn't left it to me, that's all I know.
Nor to me. You then? You got his money?
Me? His money?
It's likely to be a cheap funeral, for, upon my life, I don't know of a living soul who'd care to venture to it. I suppose we make up a party and volunteer.
I don't mind going if a lunch is provided, but I must be fed if I make one.
Well, I am the most disinterested among you, for I never wear black gloves and I never eat lunch. But I'll offer to go if anybody else will. When I come to think of it, I'm not all that sure I wasn't his most particular friend, for we used to stop and speak whenever we met. Well then, bye-bye.
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 They left the busy scene and went into an obscure part of the town. The ways were foul and narrow, and the whole quarter reeked with crime, with filth and misery. Far in this den of infamous resort, there was a low-browed beetling shop where iron, old rags, bottles, bones, and greasy offal were bought. And sitting in among the wares he dealt in, by a charcoal stove made of old bricks, was a grey-haired rascal, nearly 70 years of age. Scrooge and the Phantom came into the presence of this old man, just as a woman with a heavy bundle slunk into the shop. But she had scarcely entered when another woman, similarly laden, came in too, and she was closely followed by a man in faded black, who was no less startled by the sight of them than they had been upon the recognition of each other. After a short period of blank astonishment, in which the old man had joined them, they all four burst into a laugh.
Oh, look here, old Joe, here's a chance. If we had no met here without meaning it.
You couldn't have met in a better place. Come into the parlour. Come into the parlour. Let me rake this fire over a bit.
What are the odds then? What are the odds, Mrs. Dilber? Every person has a right to take care of themselves. Are he always dead?
It's true indeed, no man more so.
Very well then. Who's the worse for the loss of a few things like these? Not a dead man, I suppose.
Indeed.
If he wanted to keep him after he was dead, the wicked old screw, well, wasn't he natural in his lifetime? If he had been, he'd have had somebody to look after him when he was struck with death, instead of lying, gasping out his last there alone by himself.
It's the truest word that ever was spoke. It's a judgment on him.
Open that bundle, old Joe, and let me know the value of it. Speak out plain. I'm not afraid to be the first.
No, my dear, I won't think of letting you be the first to show what you earned from this. I'll throw in mine. It's not very extensive, see. Seals, a pencil case, sleeve buttons.
No sleeve buttons, though.
Not bad. A brooch there.
Not very valuable, I'm afraid.
How much, old Joe?
Well, a pitiful lot, really. 10 and 6, and not a sixpence more.
You're not serious.
That's your account, and I wouldn't give another sixpence if I was to be boiled for not doing it. There you go. Who's next?
Shite! Silver spoons, silver sugar tongs, some boots.
Oh, I always give much too much to the ladies. It's a weakness of mine, and that's the way I ruin myself.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here's your total coming up. £2.10.
And now my bundle, Joe.
So many knots, madam. So many. What do you call this? Bed curtains.
Oh, bed curtains, yes.
You don't mean to say you took 'em down, rings and all, with him lying there?
Yes, I did, and why not?
You were born to make your fortune, that'd certainly do it.
Don't drop that lamp oil on those blankets now.
His blankets?
Whose else's do you think? He isn't likely to catch cold without 'em, I dare say.
I hope that he didn't die of anything catching, eh?
Oh, don't you be afraid of that.
Uh,
You may look through that shirt till your eyes ache, but you won't find an hole in it. Not a threadbare place. It's the best he had, and a fine one too. They'd have wasted it if it hadn't been for me.
what do you mean, they'd have wasted it?
Putting it on him to be buried in, to be sure. Somebody was fool enough to do it, but I took it off again.
£1.6 for the lot. Yeah, that's the end of it, you see. He frightened everyone away from him while he was alive to profit us when he was dead.
The corpse itself and sell its trimmings. Oh, spirit, I see it. I see it. The fate of this unhappy man could be my own. My life tends that way now. Spirit, this is a fearful place. In leaving it, I shall not leave its lesson. Trust me. Let us go, spirit. Let me see some tenderness connected with the death. Oh, the dark chamber which we now left will be forever present in me.
The ghost conducted him through several streets, and they entered a dwelling Scrooge had visited before.
And he took a child and sat him in the midst of them.
Who's that?
Oh, the colour hurts me eyes. Let me move the candle a little closer. Oh, that's better. Thank you, Martha. My eyes grow weak with sewing by candlelight. I shouldn't want to show your father weak eyes when he comes home. Well, not for the world. It must be near his time.
Past it, rather. But I think he's been walking a bit slower than usual these last few evenings, Mother.
Yes, Peter. I've known him walk with Tiny Tim upon his shoulder, and very fast indeed.
So have I, Mother, often.
So have I.
Yes, Belinda, for he was very light to carry, and his father loved him so that it was no trouble. No, there's your father at the door.
Father? Hello, wife. Children, how good to see you all. And you, wife. And look at this sewing. I've no doubt with all your industry, we'll have a quilt to set down upon our knees in church on Sunday.
You made the arrangements today then, Robert, for the service to be on Sunday?
The funeral? Oh well. Yes, I did. I wish you could have gone. It would have done you good to see how green a place it is. But you'll see it often. I promised him that I could walk there on Sunday after the service. My little child. My little child.
Oh, Father!
Forgive me. But however and whenever we part from one another, I am sure we shall none of us forget poor Tiny Tim, shall we? Or this first parting that was amongst us?
Never, Father, never.
And when we recollect how patient and mild he was, We shall not quarrel easily among ourselves and forget poor Tiny Tim in doing it.
No, Father,
No, Father.
never.
A churchyard. It was a worthy place, walled in by houses, overrun by grass and weeds. The growth of vegetation's death, not life. Choked up with too much burying. Fat with repleted appetite. A worthy place.
Something informs me that our parting moment is at hand. I know it, but I know how.
The spirit stood among the graves and pointed down to one.
Tell me what men these ghoulish parasites so gloated over. Before I draw nearer to that stone, tell me, are these the shadows of things that will be, or the shadows of things that may be only? Man's courses will foreshadow certain ends, but if the courses of a man's life have departed from, then surely the ends must change as well. Say, this is what you've shown me.
The spirit is as immovable as ever. Scrooge crept toward it, trembling as he went, and, following the finger, read upon the stone of the neglected grave his own name, Ebenezer Scrooge.
No, spirit, no! No, spirit, please tell me. I am not the same man I was. I will not be the same man I must have been this night, but for it, may show me this, if I am all past hope. I see by your wavering hand that your good man, mature, intercedes for me and pities me. Assure me that I may yet change these shadows that you have shown me by an altered life. I will honor Christmas in my heart. I will keep it Christmas all the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. All spirits of these shall strive within me. Do tell me that I may sponge away the writing on this stone, spirit. Give me a sign all is possible. Give me a sign. All hope for me is not lost. Spirit, spirit, I beseech thee. Give me a sign.
Holding up his hands in a last prayer to have his fate reversed, he saw an alteration in the phantom's hood and dress. It shrunk, collapsed, and dwindled down into a bedpost.
I am alive. Oh, Jacob Marley, wherever you are, Jacob, know that I praise you for this. I praise you, and heaven and Christmas time. I say to ye on my knees, Jacob, on my knees. Not torn down. Oh, the curtains are not torn down at all, rings and all. Here they are. I am here. The shadows of things that would have been, say now they be dispelled. They will be, Jacob. I know they will. I don't know what to do. I'm as light as a feather. I'm as happy as an angel. I'm as merry as a schoolboy. I am as giddy as a drunken man.
Running to the window, he opened it and put out his hand.
Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year to all the world. Hello. I don't know what it is. I don't know how long I've been with the spirits. I don't know anything. I'm quite a baby. I don't care. I don't care a fig. I'd much rather be a baby than an old wreck like me or Jacob Marley. Hello. Hello there. Yes, you boy. Hello. What is today?
Today, sir?
Yes. What is today?
Why, it's Christmas Day.
It's Christmas Day. I haven't missed it. The spirits did it all in one night. Of course they can, they're spirits. They do everything they choose.
Excuse me, sir.
Huh? Oh, yes. Chap, what's your name?
Oh, Adam, sir.
Adam. What a fine, strong name. Well, Adam, do you know the poulterers in the next street but one, at the corner?
I certainly hope I should know him, sir.
A remarkable boy, an intelligent boy. Do you know whether they have the prize turkey that was hanging up there? I don't mean the little prize turkey, Adam. I mean the big one.
What? You mean the one they've got as big as me?
I mean the turkey the size of Adam. Yes, that's the bird.
It's hanging there now, sir.
Is it? Go and buy it. I am absolutely in earnest. Go and buy it and tell them to bring it here, and I may give them the address so where I want it delivered as a gift. Come back here with the man, Adam, and I'll give you a shilling. Come back here in less than 5 minutes, and I'll give you half a crown.
Oh, my. Been on this.
His hands were busy with his garments all this time, turning them inside out, putting them on upside down, tearing them, mislaying them, making them parties to every kind of extravagance.
I'm here. Here I am, sir. 3 minutes flat. A world record. I've got the poultry man and he's got the poultry. I'd have had my prize, sir, if I live.
Truly a champion, Adam.
There's the birds you ordered, sir.
Oh, my. Look at the size of that turkey. He never stood upon those legs, that bird. He would have snapped them off. Well, you'll never be able to get that, to carry that all the way to Camden Town. I'll give you money for a cab.
Camden Town's where it's going, sir.
Oh, I didn't tell you. Yes, I've written the precise address down just here on this. Bob Cratchit's house. Now, he's not to know who sent him this. Do you understand me? Not a word.
I understand, sir. Not a word.
Good. Well, then, here you go, then. The turkey. And this is for the taxi. This is for your world record run, Adam.
But I don't have change for that, sir.
My lad, it's Christmas.
Oh, thank you, sir. Merry Christmas.
And you've given me a bit overmuch here too, sir.
Of course I have, sir. It's Christmas.
Oh, well, thanking you, sir. I'll have this bird to Mr. Cratchit and his family in no time, sir. Don't you worry none about that. Merry Christmas to you, sir, and a very happy New Year.
Shaving was not an easy task, for his hand continued to shake very much, and shaving requires attention, even when you don't dance while you're at it. But if he had cut the end of his nose off, he would have put a piece of sticking plaster over it and been quite satisfied. He dressed himself all in his best and at last got out into the streets.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Merry Christmas, sir.
Merry Christmas, sir.
Oh, you! Yes, my dear sir. How do you do? I do hope that your rounds were successful yesterday. It is so very good of you to concern yourself with the poor.
Mr. Scrooge.
Yes, Scrooge is my name, and I fear it may not be pleasant to you. Allow me to ask your pardon, and will you have the goodness to...
Lord bless me. My dear Mr. Scrooge, are you serious?
Not a farthing less. Not a farthing less. Will you come and see me tomorrow? I have many back payments to make.
I will, sir.
Will you?
Oh, I will, Mr. Scrooge. It will be my pleasure.
Oh, very good. Merry Christmas.
Joy to
He went to the
world,
church
the
and walked about
Lord
the
is
streets
come.
and watched the people hurrying to and fro, and patted the children on the head and questioned beggars, and looked down into the kitchens of houses and up to the windows, and found that everything could yield him pleasure. He had never dreamed that any walk, that anything could give him so much happiness. In the afternoon, he turned his his steps toward his nephew's house.
Fred!
Why, bless my soul, who's that?
How now?
Oh no,
Who goes?
It's I, your Uncle Scrooge.
Dear heart alive!
I have come to dinner. May I come in, Fred?
May you come in? With much pleasure for me, you may, Uncle. What a treat!
What a treat, Uncle Scrooge. Come in, come in.
Come in here, everybody, and meet my Uncle Scrooge. He's come for our Christmas party.
Deck the halls with boughs of
Bells of
holly.
holly,
La, 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 la.
la.
But he was early at the office next morning. Oh, he was early there. The clock struck 9. No Bob. A quarter past. No Bob. Scrooge sat with his door wide open, that he might see him come.
You mean by coming in here at this time of day, Mr. Cratchit?
I'm very sorry, sir. I am behind me time.
A full 18 minutes. Yes, I certainly think you are. Step this way, Mr. Cratchit.
It's only about once a year, sir. It shall not be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday and into the night.
Yeah, Mr. Cratchit, I am not going to stand for this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, I have no recourse but to raise your salary.
Oh, no, sir. What did you say?
A Merry Christmas, Bob. A merrier Christmas, Bob. My good fellow, than I have given you for many a year. I'll raise your salary and endeavor to help your struggling family, and we will discuss your affairs this very afternoon over a bowl of smoking Bishop Bob. Now, make up the fire and buy another coal scuttle before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit. It's too damn cold in here in this place. We need warmth and cheer, Bob. Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, as good a man as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. It was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man alive possessed the knowledge. May that be truly said of us, and of all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed,
God bless us, everyone.
we hope you enjoyed listening to Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol with Eileen Glenn, Judith Jerose, Lynn Marie Macy, Todd Schwartz, Hal Simons, and yours truly, David Fuller. We thank you all for listening. This is Radio 2020 wishing you all very happy holidays.
Thank you for coming.
Wow, thank you. I see in the chat, bravo, Merry Christmas to all. Thank you so much. Someone's saying also thank you for a fine performance. Well, we have a couple minutes.
Had a few Zoom glitches with the sound there, but you know what? It all worked out. Oh, nice hat, Todd.
Yes, you all look great. And thank you, Rachel, once more for having us.
Rachel, woo! New York, Brooklyn Public Library, yes.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful.
We appreciate the comments in the chat. Thank you so much. Everyone's saying thank you, and I'm just saying it to you all because you can't read the chat. And
happy Hanukkah to those who celebrate.
Absolutely. Someone asked if they can see it on tape. That's very sweet.
Are we going to have it on tape?
I think it may be available. We'll see.
Tell them to go to the website.
There will be, if we do it, there will be a link on our website at www.theater2020.com. Thank you so much for coming. We had a very nice crowd, actually. So it was very, very nice for you all to be here and be with us. Someone said, this kicked off my Christmas spirit. I loved it. And happy birthday, Eileen,
Yay.
also.
Happy
From Catherine and the
birthday.
Circus. Oh, we want to thank you all very much. If I have a question, I'm happy to answer it. Thank you. Elaine is showing her. Thank you, Elaine. Nice to see you.
Yay.
We can stick around for a minute or two. If you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat and we'll be happy to answer any questions. we can't answer the thing, how did you learn all those lines, because we were reading it. So, that's not, other than that. Carol and Dan say hi to Hal. That's nice.
Oh, and don't forget, if you want to help our cause, you can go to the website and donate as little or as much as you want. And if not, we love that you were here anyway. That's absolutely fine. But small arts organizations struggle. So we'll probably have another reading with the library sometime in March. So keep a watch for that.
I have a question from Jamie Baker saying, please describe the rehearsal process for this Zoom production. We've done versions of this presentation, which I made for many years, actually, and this is our first time trying to do it online, not in person. And even though it's written as a radio play, because Zoom has certain I would say challenges. That's it. It has challenges. Thank you, Judith. So we did work on it and read through it a few times, and then we had a tech as well with the library. A lot of it was trying to figure out how we could get some of our Foley artist sound to happen simultaneously with our speaking, and it's actually very difficult because Zoom does have some limitations. And but that's it wasn't made. It was made for meetings, so we're happy that we can do what we can. Anybody else want to chime in at all on that?
We had 2 rehearsals with just the actors, then we had a tech rehearsal with the library, and it's a challenge. And everybody did an exemplary job, but we're used to doing this live in person, which we hope to do again at some point.
What did you say, Lynn?
That everybody did a great job, I thought, and the challenge is that Zoom wants to cancel out the sound from one person to another, but we found some little technical assists that did help us out.
Yeah.
They just didn't work as well as we had hoped.
I will say that Peter Jones says the sound effects are amazing. Thank you, Peter.
Oh, Peter, we love you.
Build it into the Zoom.
Peter's our webmaster too, by the way. He's also an exemplary ballroom dance teacher. If anybody wants to take a virtual lesson, I'm sure Peter's there for you.
Guten Tag, Leslie.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Anybody that's on the chat room from outside the United States right now? We had some people from London for our last Jane Austen reading. Yes. Anybody from outside the USA?
Someone said
my beautiful friend Leslie Shadnagel signed in from Germany.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, that's great.
You can't pay for a better name than Shadnagel. I love it. That's awesome.
That's one of the great things about Zoom. It allows us to reach people from different places. We love being in Brooklyn Heights, but we also love it when we can be joined by other people from all across the world.
Who's the gentleman on the screen?
I think I'm not sure. I think it's William.
Hi, William.
Somebody. Hello, William.
Hi, William.
I don't know who you are, but hi.
Oh, we lost him.
Okay, I scared him away.
Ghost of Christmas Zoom.
Well,
it was a lot of fun doing it. So, and nobody noticed that my camera didn't go quite off as I had planned.
Oh, yes, you were changing our Vista for a bit there.
I know,
that was interesting.
The Ghost of Christmas Past is in the lower right-hand corner with the flame on his head.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if he knows he's on camera, but he is. He knows. That's adorable.
Oh. So.
Oh, look, it was great. I'll ask for last comments from people if you have any comments, and then will.
Thank you so much, guys. Arts organizations are struggling so hard to keep our spirits up now, especially the little ones and the large ones too. And it's really important to us. We really appreciate Rachel and the library hosting us and everybody who tuned in, very much so.
Yes, thank you. Rounds of applause to everybody.
Thank you, Theater 2020. And again, everyone, if you're interested in finding out more, please do visit theater2020.com to find out more about their mission and what they're doing. As I said before, we will be able to serve the Brooklyn Heights community with holds, pickup, and returns at the new Center for Brooklyn History at 128 Pierpont. And that's just going to be until the new library opens up next year.
Wow.
So you'll be able to see the beautiful, a bit of the Center of Brooklyn History as you walk in. We're just going to be
gorgeous
in the
building.
front entrance. Yeah, and you'll see the front entrance, and you'll be able to pick up your holds, very social distance, self-checkout, and we'll kind of be back behind some plexiglass waving at you, but at least we're able to provide some sort of services. And hopefully, you know, around the time the new library opens, things will be, you know, a little bit more the way we're used to them. But I thought this was a wonderful production. I think it's wonderful that you're able to mute and unmute and stop your video and start your video. And that's a whole nother extra technical element. And having done theater before myself, I know you had quite a challenge there. It was wonderful. Thank you all for joining us. And I think we're going to end this program unless Theater 2020 has anything more to say.
No, just happy holidays to everybody.
Happy holidays, and we love you all.
Everyone.
Peace
Thank
on
you,
earth.
Sister
Peace
Sherry
on
and
earth.
Terry. Bye. Love you guys.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.
Au reservoir.
Thanks, Rachel.
Goodbye, all.